We know who's who.
And we are live. Welcome back to the 2018 Canadian Indoor Singles Championships Finals. I'm Jake Shuknik, joined again by David Gerard. How are you now, David?
Oh, I'm fine. We're being optimistic here, and this headset that's been giving us trouble is working just now. So if I just cut out for some reason, whatever, just enjoy the rest of the show.
You got it. So in the gold medal match on the men's TV rink here, we have Bhartu, defending champ, against Richard Yao. Huren using red bowls and Richard using blue ones. And beside them, we have the women's gold medal match as well. Who do we got in that match, Richard? David. Jeez.
Josephine Lee and Rainbow Lung. And Josephine's got green bowls, and Rainbow, I believe hers are blue if she's using the ones she normally uses. Purple.
Purpley, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what Rainbow's bowls are. Josephine, I believe, are Drake's Professional. And I think Rainbow's could be Henselite Classics or Classic 2s. I'm not sure.
Looks like Richard has one locked on the jack right now. Mm-hmm. So in the round robin, Bhartu went 9-2 to finish in sole place, first place. And Richard Yao went 8-3, and just snuck ahead of John Braun, who was also 8-3. But Richard had more set wins and set points and all the fun tie-breaking stuff.
Yeah, and for the bronze medal game, it is John Braun against John Bjornsson. Mm-hmm. John Braun, BC. John Bjornsson, Manitoba, who is unfortunately in some ways the sole player from out of BC that are in these finals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But John's been here before, and he's I'm used to seeing him in the gold medal match, but he kind of went off course there a little bit, but managed to right the ship, and he's back into the playoffs.
I was just going to say that's sort of an interesting statement, because for the past 2-3 years it was always Huren and John Bjornsson in the finals. This is the first year in a number of years that Bjornsson's not there. But one of the concerns I guess I might have had that I noticed from some of the players here, between Emma, Betty Van Willingham, John Bjornsson, is that they played at the North American Challenge not too long ago,
right.
Last week or two ago. So between all the bowling, full week of high-level competition mixed with travel, and then back here for another full week-long competition, burnout, I feel, is a very big factor. So I wouldn't be surprised if that had some sort of a cause, because that's a lot of bowls in a few amount of days.
Yeah, there's been lots going on, and I suppose you could even go back to all the nationals, which wasn't too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a few weeks, but still. So that they're all probably ready for a break.
Yeah, probably a 6-month break even, maybe.
Yeah.
So Richard's holding 2 locked on, and just threw a back bowl here, which you can see on the screen, bottom left corner. Huren fired with his third and just missed. So I'm curious what he'll do with this one, because if he fires on this as well, Richard's got the tee covered, and
right.
Huren doesn't have any back bowls. So I think I'd be tempted to fire on this and see if you can maybe follow through to the tee, or
it's
at least cut it down, because right now it's 2. If you could try to cut it down to 1.
Do you think there's any finesse shot there? Like, can he come? Is there any way he could come in and split Richard's bowls?
I'm curious if there's actually any separation between jack and bowl, because if there's no separation, he could come down with a finesse shot and just grab the outside edge of Richard's shot bowl and flop around in behind. Might be an option. Another option could be you could pound his red one into the head.
Right.
That gets you a bowl that's going to follow through.
No, it's a draw.
Yeah, a bit more of a finesse shot here.
Yeah, it could be. I think he's a little narrow.
I think he was trying to play into his red one.
Yeah.
Just came inside it, but that'll give 2 to Richard Yao to start the gold medal match.
Yeah, that's a good start for Richard.
Nice tee. Nice to have you with us again, Katie Patno, tuning in again from southwestern Ontario to watch the gold medal match. We'll do our best to update the rest of the scores for all the other medal games.
Yeah, it almost looks like they're either just finishing their first ends or
just doing trials still.
Trials, so. Maybe, but well, it looks like there's a measurement already in for the women's bronze medal, yeah, between Linda Eng and Emma Thompson.
Emma Boyd?
Boyd, sorry.
Close.
I was thinking of the actress. I'm terrible. Sorry, Emma. Emma's going to give me a hard time about this after, but that's fine. I'm good for it. So Richard's first bowl's come in, about 3 feet behind the jack.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much on line. Between Emma and Rainbow, it's those colors of bowls are so similar, it's hard for me anyhow to distinguish.
Mm-hmm. That's a good opening draw from her end.
Yeah.
So as is customary, I'm told here, is that for the gold medal games, they change the rink centers, so they bring things in, and so these are actually different centers than what anybody's played on all week.
Yeah, what I do when I'm practicing and stuff like that is sometimes I'll play on those particular rinks, not because I ever think I'll ever be in the position to play a meaningful game on them, but it's nice to have it slightly different, and it's also a wear thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're wearing down a different place than you would be if you're in the same place all the time.
Right. So I never noticed this during the week. Did they have the center dots on these rinks the entire week, and I just never noticed, or did they go out there between games?
I think they've gone out, yeah, between games, and they stay for a while because that part never gets
really played on as much. Yeah,
played on or walked on, so they probably even used the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just marked with chalk. The other ones are actual
stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Richard was playing a little bit more aggressively at that. Just controlled weight. He's back around to the tee now. Just past it. So Heren's lying 2. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a position bowl here too, back around to the tee.
Yeah.
He's going to come down and take a look. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of come down after 2 bowl type things, because it is technically up to the marker to say yes or no if he can, but being that we're in the gold medal game,
yeah,
you'd be hard pressed to say no.
Yeah, the game usually slows down at this point in time. Everyone's trying to be that more
precise.
Yeah, precise, careful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is kind of nice with the off-center, different centers, I guess, because now the old center marker dots are now the out-of-bounds lines, so now you can actually tell right away if a bowl's out of bounds or not, which is super convenient.
And if you have really wide drawing bowls, it gives you a bit of a reference to how far you actually got out, without just kind of imagining it.
Makes it a little easier too, because if there's an off-center jack, sometimes when you're on an outside rink, you physically can't play the outside hand then because you can't get out wide enough with the side banks, but that shouldn't be an issue here on either hand now. No,
the only issue that they may have, but they're all well-versed bowlers in these types of situations, is that they could have a colliding of the bowls because the lanes are right beside each other.
Right.
Because the bowls draw that much more than they would in the slower outdoor green.
Kind of surprised by Heren's third bowl there. It wasn't around back behind the way I was expecting, and it wasn't really in the way, unless he thought that Richard was going to play that hand, but definitely thought he was going to throw a back bowl, and he didn't, so kind of confused by that.
Yeah. He's probably trying to rest on Richard's front bowl here, maybe. Pop it out sideways a little.
Yeah, 2 excellent draw bowls with his first 2, so maybe looking to replicate that with his last bowl here. Yikes.
Ooh. I think he's okay.
He's okay. He's sitting 3. Yeah. Take the lead 3-2. That's an impressive last bowl, because as I've said here before, that's sometimes the most difficult bowl to play when you're holding shot, with your last bowl to come down and not be short. So I think Heren was sort of, as you said, that sometimes on your last bowl you'll come down heavy. So.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse than flying through the head, hoping to hit nothing.
Hoping to hit nothing.
Or hoping to hit the right something.
And as always, if you want to reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter, let us know you're there. At BCB Bowls on Twitter and at BCB Official on the Facebook.
Yeah, and the ladies' gold medal game here. Rainbow just delivered her third bowl. She scored 2 in. Josephine scored 2 in the first end. See, I got the 2 scoreboards. Maybe they should have it over there. Anyhow, that will only happen once.
So Josephine's up 2-0 after the first end in the ladies' gold medal match. And in the ladies' bronze, Emma picked up 1 in the first end to go up 1-0. And it looks like John Braun is up 2-1 over John Bjornsson in the men's bronze.
Yeah. 2-1 after 2, yeah.
Great pull here from Richard. This is I have a feeling this is going to be a very interesting game, because Richard's a very steady draw bowler.
Yeah.
And not that Heren's not, but I would say that Heren has a stronger upweight shot.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So I'm curious how this game will
and they're both
pan out.
They're both I would imagine fairly intimate with each other's game, right?
Yes. I fully expect that they've played each other several times and know exactly what each other will do before they do it.
Richard's second bowl, if it's got the weight, it's pretty good.
Just coming up a 1.5 feet short.
And on the ladies' gold medal game, it looks like Rainbow is holding to and about to deliver the final bowl of the second end.
You can actually see their head quite well in the little bottom right corner of the picture-in-picture in the top left corner of the screen.
See what happens here if she can come in for a third. It's close.
Yeah, well played.
Yeah.
Good for 3. Identical to the men. 2-0 in the first end and then 3-2 in the second.
I'm a little surprised because it's just the start of the first set too, but a 3 and multiples, all multiple.
Yeah, no singles.
Ends, yeah.
So with Heren's last bowl there, he was just a little bit outside and came around behind. I wouldn't be surprised if he just tightens up the line a little bit. Try to come in there and grab the jack with him, chip it out to the side. And as you tend to do, to give credit to the markers here, big thanks to Serge Panu is the marker on our rink, and in the women's gold medal match, the marker there is Diane.
Yeah, Diane Fulton, yeah. And
the women's bronze, is that your twin, or is that someone else down there?
No, that's my twin brother. He probably doesn't like it when I say that, but Jim Duholke. He's a reigning silver singles outdoor singles silver medalist.
Yes, correct.
And Serge is he's the president of PIBC, so it's kind of nice to see that he doesn't just sort of rest on his laurels. And
yeah, no, I should give a big shout out, big thanks to Serge. He works quite well with me on making sure everything gets here that needs to get here, with his scorecards, medals, everything that needs to happen for an event to run. So big thanks to Serge. He's a great guy to work with, and I'm sure he's a fantastic president here as well.
Yeah, 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 it's all working out well. He's a people person, so usually you don't go too wrong if you're a people person.
Saw a funny picture the other day about a people person, and it was a duck, and it was saying, "If you're a people person, I'm a geese goose."
That's good. Yeah, people person, that's not quite right, is it? When you think about it. Someone else put that idea in my mind.
So that was 2 for Richard to retake the lead, 4-3 after 3. And you can see he's got the mat up, not quite to the hog line though, I don't think. Would you say he's probably, what, 6 feet short of the hog? Or is he right there?
He's a little short. 3 to 6 feet.
Somewhere between 3 and 6 feet? No?
I believe so.
Okay, alright.
It's hard to tell, but you can kind of see the hog line.
Yeah, the hog line on the left there, yeah.
There's one on the other side, but half the time I can't see him.
Yeah, I think you're right, it is probably somewhere between 3 and 6 feet that he's short of the hog, but Jack is on the tee right in front of Serge.
Should we halt the procedure? Go out and check?
Tell them stop playing. Now the tricky part with changing the camera angles like this for this game is that
the markers.
Yeah, markers are now quite confused as to where to stand.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming in on an angle. So I'll eventually have to go down there and give Serge a hook to the left.
Yeah.
Might go do that now, actually.
Okay. So now that Jake's off air, I can say all the bad things about him and that kind of stuff, but actually I don't have anything bad to say. It's been had a great time doing some of this commentary with him, and look forward to possibly doing it again sometime. Yeah, right now Jake's down asking Serge to move to the side, which he has.
There we go. Any idea on what make of bowls the men are using? Asks Terry O'Neill.
I'd like to say that Huron is probably most likely using Drake's Professional.
Mm-hmm.
And Richards, I know I asked him before, but I think he's a Taylor's maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Richard's using, but I think you're right with Huron. And it's kind of interesting because this morning I was out rolling a couple of bowls just to say that I rolled a few while I was here, so I grabbed some off the shelf down there, and there's a lot of Drake's Pride bowls, which I find kind of strange just because most clubs that I've been to don't have them. Most players don't really use them. It's sort of a less popular brand from what I've seen, but...
Yeah, well, maybe that people thought they liked them at a certain time and then decided they better just donate them to the club. But you never know. Yeah, but... well, yeah, I borrowed a set. My first set of bowls that I borrowed for a year were Drake's. Just the regular Drake's Pride.
If my sources can be trusted, they're actually the oldest bowls manufacturer in the world.
Really?
Yeah, Drake's Pride, which doesn't really surprise me because everybody's aware of that old story of Sir Francis Drake playing bowls when whatever army was invading, so not surprised by that.
No. Just wondering if someone here would know exactly the bowls he's using. Probably. Well, I don't know if his wife would. She's not a bowler. I know Rainbow would know, and I know Josephine would know, but I'm not going to ask them right now.
Right in the middle of the gold medal match, I'm sure they'd be happy to be taking questions.
I just noticed, just back briefly to markers, Ed Olson is marking on rank 1.
Ah, okay.
Now, Ed Olson has won the provincial championships, and Ed, don't get mad at me if I get this wrong, but I believe he was runner-up once in the national indoor.
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
I believe you're right. So that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, really good bowler. But he's been struggling with, I think, knee problems and stuff like that just recently, so hopefully he'll be back in top form soon.
You can see all the bowls, almost all the bowls here are in a nice straight line. So they found their line quickly here, not surprisingly.
Yeah. Yeah, and it would be a bit of an adjustment for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they moved half a rink over, you can't really rely on certain things that you could have before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably the first, I don't know, give them maybe even a couple more ends and they'll have it.
They'll be locked in.
Yeah.
Locked and loaded.
Oh, here comes weight.
Not surprised here. You could double them out instead of few. What a bowl.
Oh, 4? No, 3. If he'd have kept the shooter, it would have been 4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe
Not
it's only
surprised
2.
here. You could double them out instead of few.
That's 2.
Over in the men's bronze, John Braun's up 5-1 over John Bjornsson after 4. And in the women's bronze, Emma Boyd's up 3-0 after 3. And in the women's gold, Rainbow's up 4-2 after 3. And that's all the scores I can give you right now, because that's all the games there are. So. Yeah, I guess I could say the men's score as well once they updated, but not sure whether that was 2 or not, so I can't really tell you that yet anyway.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 on that. So
2. Yeah. We'll see what Serge says. One and maybe 2. 2. Taylor aces, says Gregor, for what Richard Yao is using.
Yeah, that makes sense. I figured they're Taylors. That's Priscilla Westlake uses Taylor aces, and I believe Emma does as well.
Could be. Could be. I do not know. Bit of a shorter jack here.
Yeah, they're both. It's hard to find a lot of weak points in both of their games as far as drawing. You know, they're both really good short and long and everything in between, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know. I think sometimes you just there's a length that you just can't quite get a handle on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if your opponent can clue into that, you're in trouble.
Big thanks to our partners and sponsors, the Government of Canada through Sport Canada, the Coaching Association of Canada, and Kukri, an official clothing supplier. Terry O'Neill saying, doesn't Richard have a cot there? I'm sure he's here frequently enough, but I don't see a cot anywhere.
Well, yeah, we've all been accused of that at some point in time. Yeah, even myself. But it's not necessarily that I'm here bowling all the time, but
just here hanging out.
Yeah, hanging out and doing stuff that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he could have one out by the emergency exit there. It's a big area that might work for him. But there is a big comfortable couch on the in the lounge area that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that big leather couch is quite comfy in the players' lounge.
Yeah. Not that I've ever lied on it. Or anything,
Richard's asking who shot, and I don't think Serge saw it, so it is 1 to Richard.
I like what Serge did there. He did the 6 inches in front audio, and he also showed him.
Mm-hmm. Audio and
visual
hand signal is a good combo.
Yeah.
It ensures that your message is heard the way you intended it. And as you said, not surprisingly, the game slowed down quite a bit here compared to earlier this week, just because it is a final, so everybody's taking just that much more time to think things through. A couple extra trips to the head. What are your thoughts on no time limits for final games?
I think that's fair.
For all of our national championships, we just get rid of any time limit if there was one, and you take as long as you take.
But I still think, it can't be excessive, but I think in the finals it's fair, to have sort of a no time limit thing. I don't know. Although, I'm okay with either, personally.
Yeah.
Because I like to bowl fast.
Same.
And so it's not a problem. Now it would be tough on others that really like to take a lot of time. And sometimes I just wonder how much of that is gamesmanship. And you can't really tell.
Great shot from Richard there.
Yeah.
Gamesmanship is such a funny word. I'd never heard of it until I started working for bowls a few years back and saw it in one of our coaching manuals of avoid gamesmanship, and I had to ask people, what does that mean? Is that sportsmanship? And they're like, no, it's like the exact opposite.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
exactly.
Weird. Never heard that term before.
They should just say bad sportsmanship.
Yeah, bad sportsmanship or something like that, just to keep it simple. But back and forth game here in the men's match. Yeah, Richard picked up 2 there with his last bowl and made a heck of a shot.
So it's all multiple lengths?
Yeah, I don't think there's been a single yet. That's right. Every end that's counted has been 2 or more.
Yeah. So one of the games, and I can't remember exactly who was in the game, but the one thing I remember is the score. The score was 5-3 after 8 ends.
All singles.
Yeah. And then I think whoever had the 5 got maybe the first multiple in the last end, which makes sense because your opponent's trying to make up for lost ground.
Right. Those games are sometimes frustratingly difficult.
Yeah.
More draining than others, I would say. In the women's gold medal match, it's 5-2 for Rainbow over Josephine after 4.
Oh, really? Can you see the head on the
women's bronze game or women's?
The head at the far end.
At the far end, not so much.
Maybe I can go down to the far end and give you hand signals.
Bit of a looser head here from Huron and Richard.
Yeah, they must be getting tired. No.
Might be the length too. This could be the first time they've played this exact length so far this game, so just a slightly finer line.
Yeah, it could be. It could be the length, and it could also be the rink too. There could be something there that they're not picking up on. Because they're going opposite hands into the head, right?
Yep. One bowl left each to come. Really not much more besides a draw here for either player. I don't see much.
No.
I suppose Huron could try to pick Richard's bowl if he doesn't do anything with his. Count 3 or 4, but Richard, all he really got is a draw here is all I see. I don't see much of a trail happening.
No. unless he decided to change hands and go on his forehand, but I think he could probably pick it, but
Given how steady of a draw bowler he is, I'm not expecting him to. I mean,
No.
he could throw a drive and bare jacket, but I wouldn't expect that. I expect just a cold hard draw.
yeah.
The way he takes such a big step forward, it makes
yeah.
it seem like it's going to come flying out of his hand, then he's going to whip it, and it's not. It's just a draw.
Well, yeah, and he's one of the better draw bowlers around. There's no doubt about it. He may not say that himself, but it is a close second there, I think.
Yeah.
But I asked him one time, I said, Richard, how do I get better at my draw shot? You know, well, that's everyone needs a really good draw, and mine's not the greatest. He says, start with the shortest shot possible and get to the point where you can feel the difference between 6 inches of weight, or bowl the difference between 6 inches, sort of thing, and then expand it, sort of thing. And I'm thinking, 6 inches?
That's so little. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But that was his answer.
And to be fair, when you're playing on the carpet like this, it is very, I wouldn't say easy, but I mean it is noticeable 6 inches of weight. Whereas when you're playing on an outdoor rink on a slower green, it's a lot harder to notice that difference. But on a fast pace, it's much easier to tell that difference.
Yeah. Yeah, much more sort of finite, I guess. Refined.
So we got our first single of the match with picking up one there to tie things up at 6.
I expect this to be a dog fight to the end, and I hope it is.
Yes, make sure.
I don't want to see any one kind of really walking away with it, but. And who? When you asked me, what did I say? Who would be in the finals?
I think you said these two, to be honest. I think you did say Heron and Richard.
And then, I'm sorry, John, again. But I just had, somehow John wasn't in my head. So I could have easily picked John and been wrong. But still.
But as we all know here, David's a bit of a psychic, so come to him for your lottery picks, and he'll tell you which numbers are winning next week.
A sick what? Oh, psychic. Okay. Yeah, I really felt put on the spot there when you asked me that question too, and I got to answer it. And ask me again next year. If you're here and I'm here, and I'll see if I can
go 2 for 2.
Yeah.
All right, I'll hold you to that. 364. I'll ask again. Pretty consistent bowls here from Heron.
Yeah, two really good bowls there.
2 good ones, yeah.
Close.
Great shot from Richard.
Could be shot, eh?
Heron's asking, and yeah, it is. Yeah, that's the shot. Heron's going to come down and take a look. And in the women's gold medal match, Rainbow is now up 7-2 over Josephine after 5 ends of play. Women's bronze medal game, it's all tied up at 4 after 6. And in the men's bronze, I see that John Braun has 8 after 7 ends of play, and I can't quite see what John Braun has. 3. 8-3 for John Braun over John Bjornsson.
But they must have just finished the 9th end, eh? Or not?
I think the 7th, and then they still have 8 and 9 to go.
Oh, okay.
Go back, yeah. They're zipping along at a quick pace.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say that they'll probably be the first done.
Absolutely.
But then I thought, no, keep your mouth shut. So Heron's delivering his third bowl here, sticking with the same side. It looks like it's weighted a bit, eh?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's looking to work on his or try to get Richard's, and I think he got his.
But into the ditch.
But flopped around for shot right behind
Yeah.
it, so that's a pretty good result out of it, despite the bull he hit ended up in the ditch.
Richard's going to have a close look at things there.
Mm-hmm. While Richard's up visiting the head, you can look at the picture-in-picture there on the top left corner. You can just make out the head between Josephine and Rainbow. Rainbow using the purple bowls. One of hers coming in here now. Shot drawn.
Yeah, Richard, he finally, I could be wrong because I haven't been around long enough, but I think this last spring,
Mm-hmm.
we used the provincials as a qualifier for the nationals indoor.
Right.
And I believe Richard won his first. So he's always been knocking on
Okay.
the door for
Mhm.
many years. He had second, third. So he finally won his first, and I'm sure he hopes to carry it through in the nationals here, and he's
Mhm.
in a position to do that. Yeah.
Don't think that quite ended up where he was looking for. I think he probably wanted another foot or two on that. Sort of a two-part shot where you get position first and then make it on your second.
Mm-hmm.
So he was trying to get some position over there because if he does chip the jack over, it didn't help his cause before, whereas now he's got one sitting over there waiting. The way the jack is angled in front of Feren's bowl, you can't quite see it on the screen, but it would chip over to the side where Richard's last bowl ended up.
This is coming into the head, I think.
Will it drop in time or will it crash? Not quite, but I mean that's going to make things difficult now for Richard. We might have to see some weight here.
No.
No, never mind. What do I know?
Oh,
Just chip the jack in the bowl. Wow. What a shot.
I think I'd finesse it with a drive shot.
I think I would have as well there. That's probably why neither you or I are playing in this game right now. So Richard Yao takes a 1-point lead with 2 ends to go in the first set. And as always, if you got any questions or thoughts on the game, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter. At BCB Bulls on Twitter, at BCB Official on Facebook. Send us a message, we'd love to hear from you. Not surprisingly, as soon as Richard got the mat, it's nowhere near where Heren had it. Heren had it up close to the hog line. Richard's got it back quite a pace. Stretching it out a little bit.
Yeah, it's close to the length it was coming back this way last time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And hopefully they'll get it down pat a little bit better. Looks like Rich.
Yeah, looks like Richard's figured it out, and that's a beautiful opening bowl. Just enough of a kiss to get a spray chalk mark. Over on the women's rink to the right there, you can see that Rainbow's got 2 close purples, maybe even a look for 3 there.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, it could be 3.
And Heren just missed. Great to see such finesse play here, and just, you know, a little tap here, a little rub there.
Yeah.
This is where strategy makes such a big difference about knowing which shot you should be playing.
Strategy and execution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm super confused by Richard there. He just rolled a toucher on the other hand with his first bowl and then switched hands and did that. Not that that's a bad shot by any means, but that's where I don't understand why he would have switched hands after rolling a toucher on your first. Why not stick to the same hand, do it again?
Yeah, he may have been thinking to rest on Huron's back bowl, but I don't know.
Now he switched hands again and back to where he was with the first, so I'm confused by this.
He's going for the tee on this one. He's or a back.
Yep.
Yeah, just anything behind between Huron's two bowls, really.
Huron's still throwing another drive at this. He lowered the weight a little bit and still didn't break in time.
So what do you do on this last one for Richard? Do you go?
I still throw another back bowl. That way, if he makes it, you're still down 2.
Okay, the carpet on the top of the bank and the green kind of blends in, and I thought that one bowl of the Huron's was on the green.
Oh, right.
I should have known better because he threw 2 drives, but
no, yeah. If you saw that on the bottom right of your screen, great shot from Josephine, but no luck on the result. But no, if I'm Richard right now, I'm just throwing another bowl back to the tee, so that way, even if Huron makes it, you're still down 2.
Yeah.
So now you're sort of forcing Huron onto doing something else, try to play a perfect trail or something like that. If he makes it, he makes it, but I'd force him onto something not a drive. That's what I would do anyway.
Yeah. Well, see if you.
He's not doing that at all.
No.
I think he's throwing a guard, maybe.
No, he's coming right into the head.
Right into the head. Wow.
I think.
That's one of the last things I would have done.
Yeah. Mind you, he hasn't made it.
Yeah, he didn't make the head any wider. Yeah. That's
1 plus.
I think that could be in the count too. So he's laying 3, and they're all in a line, and that's wow. You have to either be feeling really, really confident to do that, or it's just further of a guard than you were expecting. I'm not sure, but wowza. So in the women's gold, it's 9-2 for Rainbow over Josephine after 6.
Yeah, Josephine's got to. She's got to try and do something here to try and salvage that set if she can. If not, well, then you just keep playing and start thinking about the second set.
Here's a much closer bowl from her end. Got rid of 1.
Yeah.
So that'll be 2 to Richard.
See, that one front bowl did help.
It did,
Richard.
yeah. It made a big difference. That's fair.
So what do we know?
Clearly not much. So that's a huge end for Richard. What a time to come alive, because now you have a 3-point lead going to the last end of the first set.
Yeah.
As one of our statisticians told us earlier in the week, that if you win the first set, according to the stats at that time, 65% of the time you would go on to win the game in straight sets.
2 out of 3 times.
2 out of 3 times, yeah.
So 3-point difference. So Huron has to get a
3 to tie or a 4 to win the set.
Yeah, 4 max. That's hard to do.
Mm-hmm. Especially the way that Richard just played that last end. In the women's bronze, Linda is up 6 to 4.
After 6.
After 6, yeah.
And the guys, John took the first set, which you probably already said. I'm not sure. And
by John, we meant John Braun, just to clarify.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit.
How about there?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Can't everyone figure out when I say John and I mean John Braun, and it's Jon instead of John. I guess it doesn't work, does it?
Have to emphasize the H in John Bjornsson. But yes, so they're just starting their second set over in the men's bronze. But yeah, for the men gold medal match here, it is the last end of the first set. So Heren definitely needs to be reaching here in order to score 3 or 4. Every bull's going to have to be past the jack. And I'd say he is. I'm worried about the line of this, though. I think it might just crash.
Lucky and then maybe unlucky.
Yeah, lucky and then unlucky, yeah. But it still sets him up for a trail for 3 or 4 here with his next bull or 2, so worked out okay. So you commented that you were watching Bester in the Commonwealth Games gold medal final, and how for the first 5-6 ends he was really locked in, doing well, and Aaron just threw a drive on his first bowl and got the jack, and that just sort of changed the whole flow of the game and sort of threw Ryan off his groove. I'm thinking right now Richard's really locked in, and Heren might need to do something like that to get Richard off his groove. And I'm not saying he needs to throw a drive with Jack in the ditch, but you definitely need something to get Richard out of that locked-in zone, because right now Richard's just playing very, very well. Just inside, but that actually still isn't a bad spot to be. There's still that trail for 3 or 4 here if he can make it. So Richard's gonna have to come down here, and I fully expect him to have to make almost a perfect position bowl right behind. Yeah, no, and the mic's conked out on you, so we'll have to rotate things back and forth here.
Try and get this one sorted. Do what I did last time and just shake it up a little bit.
It's funny how technology sometimes work where you just drop something and it works, or bang it or whatever. You know, you just have to give it a good tap and a swift kick, and it'll start working again. I can hear it coming in through there now. Yep. We'll see.
Hello?
As soon as you put it on, not at all. Well, I don't think that's really gonna work for Richard. He pushed his shot pull back 2 or 3 rolls, but the trail is still there for Heren to score a multiple. I'd be curious what it looks like from the tee. He could even potentially just drive Bear Jack into the tee, or Bear Jack into the ditch, kill it.
Yeah, I don't know if
Richard's on the left there, which Serge is standing sort of in the way so you can't see it, but Richard has one over there. I'm not sure how close it is to the tee in relation to Heren's
other two.
Yeah.
I think it might be second to the tee. So, well, it's hard to say. I'm in a bit of an angle this way too, so really difficult. So what's happening, ladies, is the first set is done. They've got an umpire there. There must be a...
So Heren's jack hunting. Jack hunting. He got it. I believe that might be a kill, maybe not. If it's still in bounds, that makes a big difference too.
Yeah.
If it's still in bounds, I think that's almost for sure a 3. If it's on the tee, I'm less certain. There you go, you can see Richard's ball there.
Yeah.
So it's still in bounds, and I don't know what the call was there.
We'll see what happens with the... I think Richard... Yeah, Richard's got the set.
So I guess that was only maybe 2 there. And Richard still got the set. All right. So Richard Yao took the first set over Heren Bhartu.
Yeah.
And a heck of a last shot by Heren.
Yeah, Heren almost
almost made her. Yeah, I thought he had it, but not quite. So in the women's bronze medal match, Linda Ng took the first set. They're just starting the second set. In the gold medal match, Rainbow's up 9-3 after 7. They still have up and back to go, actually. And in the men's bronze, John Braun is up 2-0 over John Bjornsson, starting that second set. As we talked about before, how difficult it is to reset. I believe I was talking with Kerry Mans when he was commentating for his game about how when you play sets, it's very difficult to sort of reset your mind when you're going to the second set. And it's funny that the first end here of this second set, that it almost seems like both players hit the reset button here, because it's not quite opening two bowls here, not quite the same as the last 2-3 ends. That was a very aggressive shot from Richard. If he hadn't found a friend there, he would have been sailing. And I think our mic is just about conked out for you. I'll let you keep struggling with that if you want to, but if not, I can share this one too.
That's okay.
Okay, well I got no problem with taking it off and sharing like this. It's a good place to be from Heren. That's a good position bowl.
Hear that?
Precise way of trying to get things back.
Oh, testing,
Yeah.
testing.
I think you
Okay,
got it.
just quit. Oh, there we go. I think it's every time you move. No,
Yeah,
just kidding.
maybe I don't need to move at all. I need to stay perfectly still. That's a much better bowl from Richard. Shot drawn.
Yeah.
The way this is set up right now, it's still just a draw for Heren. And you can see the purple bowls of Rainbow on the bottom right of your screen. Rainbow's playing very well. Oh, tracking. Good weight. Looking around here, there's actually so many spectators that it's actually standing room only right now. There's a row of people standing behind watching this game. Great to see. That's a not great bowl from Richard. That makes a bit of a split target there for Heren if he wants to throw weight at that. Makes it that much easier for Heren now to come down a little more aggressively at this. What was just a cold hard draw really is now different options type of shot. Makes that target look a little bit bigger from the mat. Oh, he's coming. He's definitely aggressive at this. Ho, 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 ho. Just missed the jack. I believe they're in agreement of 2 for Richard to kickstart this second set. As always, if you want to get in touch with us, reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter, at BCB Bowls on Twitter, at BCB Official on Facebook. Send us your thoughts, questions, or concerns. Yep, that's fair. That's fair.
I messed. So we're down to one microphone off one headset here. Please bear with us, and we'll continue to give you all the updates here. So Richard's first bowl, is that about a foot behind the jack?
I'd say less than that.
Yeah.
A few inches.
A few inches. And her end's coming down.
That looks tight to me.
Yeah, that's tight. And the gals, if Rainbow's, I think she's holding one and coming down with her second one there.
Richard's got a pretty good caterpillar here.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent. And depending on who scored in the last end on the men's bronze medal, it was 2-1 for John Braun over John Bjornsson after two ends. And now, but they're in the second set, and John Braun is one set up on John Bjornsson.
I got my money on John.
I think so, yeah. Here comes Richard with his third bowl. And on the rink beside, Rainbow, her third bowl.
Do you think they've decided on who's going to be Big John, who's going to be Little John?
Are we talking stature?
Winner if this game decides, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. It'll be Big Bad John. Ren's got a... Ooh. Not a bad little shot in there.
Yeah, that might be good enough for second. Definitely changed up an angle. You can see the jack from the camera now, but you still can't really see it from the mat.
Rainbow on the ladies' side is delivering her, I believe it's her final bowl. Yeah, her final bowl. And she's looking like she's close there. Oh, came up short. Can you see the score in the
Women's bronze?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Linda Ng is up 4-1 over Emma after 2 in the second set. Linda took the first set.
Yeah, okay. So Linda's in the driver's seat right now. See if that continues.
So what do you do if you're Heren here looking at this? He's got one bowl left. I'd be inclined to come in on like a backhand draw. Yeah, I agree with you, because I'd be worried about forehand if he rolls his closest bowl anywhere. He's now down 3. So I'd be inclined to switch hands.
Right, we'll see. Have you ever had the case where you're down at the head and you think, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And then you get back up to the mat and you go, but this looks much better. Something else. That's happened to me, and I usually go with what looks much better. I don't know if that's right or not, but...
Yeah, I've done that. I actually did that this year, and I feel like it's very circumstantial on the situation, depending on, you know, if you're down 4, then chances are it's probably just a draw to try to cut things down, even if the drive might look better.
Yeah, I agree. Heren's just put his final bowl in there, and I don't think the result was the best for him. He may have given 2 away, I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely didn't get the shot he was looking for.
Women's gold medal game, Rainbow is up 1-0 after one end. Josephine in the second set. Rainbow won the first set.
So that was, in fact, 2 for Richard, so he's got a quick 4-0 lead after 2 ends here in the second set.
Yeah, yeah. That's, if I was Richard, I'd be somewhat, not totally excited about it, but I'd be somewhat happy with that.
Yeah, definitely optimistic.
Yeah. You know, oh, I can't say it right. I keep forgetting I'm get used to putting a headset on and you know you're on air sort of thing, but yeah, I'll try and be good. And if I say something wrong, yeah, it's Jake's fault.
Well, I was going to say we could blame it on Ontario O'Neill. Back in Nova Scotia, he's watching and he can't defend himself here yet, so.
Oh, yeah, you got a point there.
It's a fantastic opening ball from Richard, and like I said earlier, he's really locked in the zone here. Really tuned in.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you see Heren just walked away there. There's so many people standing here watching. I think some movement might have sort of thrown him off.
Yeah, and Richard, if he's not the best draw bowler around here, he's definitely right up there. He's just deadly with the draw.
Do you find that people moving behind the green gets in your head?
None of that bothers me. The odd time if you get a real loud noise that comes from behind, not so much in front, but if it's from behind, then that'll get me. But no, movement doesn't bother me.
Based off of where Heren's bowl just was, I'm guessing that really did get in his head, the fact that people are moving behind the green here.
You're going to get a sore arm.
Well, fortunately, it's only for 1 set.
Well, you are good for something, Jake. A microphone stand. Sorry.
Add that to the job description.
Yeah.
Not surprising, Heren's throwing some upweight shot here.
He just clipped it.
Not surprising, Heren's throwing some upweight shot here.
I think that, obviously, Huron has been distracted somewhat, and something's bothering him. It's going to be difficult for Richard to deal with it too, because he's going to have to say, well, it doesn't matter, put my head down. When I go up to bowl, I go up to bowl, right? See, he's looking the other way.
Yeah, that's true. You can see in the back there that Richard was facing the wall instead of down the green, so I think you're right that it could affect both players.
But hopefully not to the point where it changes the result or is the main factor in the result of the game. Yeah.
How's that for a drive and draw from Heren? Fantastic.
Yeah. Very good. Here comes Richard. This is close. Oh, it might have died on him.
It ended up in, I'm going to say, not a great spot, because now from the mat, that kind of looks like a target, even though he's in front of the jack. That still looks like a juicy target from the mat.
Yeah. And I would imagine you'll see Wade here, but I don't know. He could even go for the draw.
I was going to say, I don't think he will see Wade, because I'm sure he's aware if he picks his own, he's down 3. So I fully expect a little more control here instead of an upweight shot. But I've been wrong many a time before this week, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Heren will be the proof. And on the ladies' side, looks like Josephine's up 2.
Yeah, looks like Josephine's holding 2 in the head there, which would give her a 2-1 lead.
I'm wrapped. I'm R-A-P-T wrapped, not W-R-A-P-E-D wrapped.
Heren is throwing weight here. I was completely wrong. Wow. Aaron is throwing weight here. I was completely wrong.
Weighted shots aren't exciting.
Not me.
They're just a couple of thugs out there. No, that was a great attempt. And I believe it was one for Richard, eh?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, one for Richard.
Up 5-0 after 3.
In the women's bronze medal match, Linda Ng is up 5-2 after 4. And in the men's bronze medal match, John Braun's up 5-2 after 4.
Yeah. Echo.
Yeah. Josephine picked up 3 there to go up 3-1 in the women's gold medal match.
Well, that jack might be on. Or no, it's not out, sorry. The rinks have moved and it's got me all messed up. So Richard's first ball was at 3 feet, you think?
Yeah, it could be close to 3 feet.
I expect Huron to be heavy, if anything, but you never know. Oh, great shot by Josephine.
Have you ever played in a final and you're off to a really, really good start? You can almost sort of smell the finish line, and you start thinking about the gold medal, thinking about the trip that's on the line, thinking about whatever it is that you get for winning?
I'll let you know when I make it to a final. Serious.
Fair enough.
I've been plugging away and plugging away. I think I made it to the final in our club singles when novice when I first started, and I won that, but there was only 4 of us.
Well, you still proved to be the best of 4.
Yeah. What's your take on that?
It's sometimes hard not to, especially when you're feeling really confident. If you're playing a singles game and you're at 17, 18, whatever it is. In this case, I guess for sets, might be a little too early for that yet. But for me, I know that you shouldn't. But sometimes I do start envisioning that trip, that gold medal, that whatever.
Yeah.
In this situation, the winner of this event gets to go to the World Cup in 2019 down in Warilla. So I was just wondering if, in another 2 ends, if it's still going on the way it is, if Richard's going to start having those thoughts in his head about, I'm so close to going to Warilla.
Yeah, I'm sure he will, but, because of what I told you about the provincials and how he's really struggled to win the provincials, I think he's learned, I would hope he's learned from the nationals. It's just, it depends on how you look at it. But I know I've been in matches that I really want to win, and I'm way ahead, and I become complacent, and then my opponent starts to claw back, and every time he claws back a little bit more, I get a little bit more tense and worried. And
Heart starts beating a little bit quicker. Yeah.
And sometimes I lose it. You think, oh, I've got it. And there it was, gone. This could be a nice, useful bowl for Richard. Oh.
Not bad. Do you think we'll see weight again from her end, or do you think he'll try to draw?
I think he's gonna.
He's got the 2 best back.
Yeah, but still, maybe he needs the mat. I don't think it really matters what he does. He needs the mat, and he needs to get it soon. So I think a draw, if that's what you feel you can do at the time. He's missed a lot of his weighted. Well, he's maybe not a lot. I was going to say a lot, but his last few have been pretty good. So I would think either way.
I think this is a little bit of weight.
Yeah, it's close.
In the ballpark. Grabbed it.
3 maybe?
Yeah, good for 3. Although actually, I don't know if the jack's out of bounds. I thought it killed, but if it's in the ditch there, then it might not be 3. It might be dependent on where it is in the ditch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually still alive in the ditch. It's not dead yet.
Well, if they have any question whatsoever, they would get the umpires out for sure. I mean, the umpire's 15 feet away.
So it was only 2 there because the jack didn't kill. I'm sure her.
I think in that end, regardless of what happens, as long as he gets the mat, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I don't think Heren's going to be too upset with that because it got him the mat, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah. And now it's all up to him in some ways, but then sometimes I wonder who has the advantage here.
What do you mean?
Well, like if you're trying to go end after end and score at least one sort of thing, I guess it's the only way you can do it is to have the mat. But at the same time, I'm always thinking, well, Richard's got the last bowl. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I hear you on that, but I'm also thinking that when Heren has the mat, he brings it way up, and you can see he's got it way up here again, and so I think that really makes a difference. I think that's a big advantage for Heren, just because Richard, as locked in as he's been, he likes it at his distance, and this isn't it.
Yeah, and Heren obviously is this. He's thinking, well, or he knows that this is his comfort zone. Yeah. Ooh, Josephine, nice bowl.
Great shot from Josephine.
Heren's first bowls come in and it's about a foot in front of the jack or something like that. Oh, I like Rainbow's first bowl there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good position. You can't quite see it because the scoreboard's covering it up, but it's right there in the corner.
A little narrow, Richard, I think. Yeah.
I think this is a big confidence booster for Heren right now to one, have the mat and have your distance, and then to see Richard's first bowl that far away. Might be a small glimmer of hope to think Richard's not as locked in right now.
Right, yeah, something's got to change. And he's put in another, well, probably a little shorter than he wanted. Here's the ball. Here it is.
That's a great shot from Richard.
Yeah, Richard just squeaked by, little tick, and he's by the jack. Richard just changed hands.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused by that. Is he playing back to the tee?
I don't think so, but
Just trying to come up short and be in Heren's eye, maybe. Okay. Not a bad bull. He was trying for a guard there just to be in Heren's eye.
Yeah. What would happen if Heren came the other way?
I like coming the other way personally, just because you can either get Richard's bull or you can
Promote yours?
Yeah, promote yours, so it gives you another option.
Yeah, and worst case scenario, you sneak through the hole and you trail the jack.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what Heren does.
The way he's lining up, it looks like he's still playing on his backhand. We'll see if he switches. And he is switching.
Yeah. It's got the weight.
In the ballpark.
Oh, he might squeeze through. Unlucky. Now what do you do here if you're Richard? Do you go for another point?
I'd still try to go for a cold hard draw, and the way that he's been feeling it.
Yeah, he's got the control.
I think he's got the weight control.
Yeah.
But sticking with the hand that he just played on, where he came up a little bit short, I would still stick with that hand.
Yeah.
So that way you can promote your own if you're going to be a little bit heavy.
Yeah, promote your own, or I doubt he'd be wide enough and heavy enough to wick off of Heren's bowl on our right hand side.
But yeah, that's the hand that I would play. We'll see if he does.
Okay. Yeah, he's going back in, or back in.
He's second guessing himself now. He switched over to his forehand.
It must look better to him.
I don't like that shot. That's dangerous. You could chip the jack over to Heren.
But it's weight control, right? If he figures he's got the weight. Yeah, no, he erred on the side of caution.
Yeah, I think the indecision.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing either, because you still get 1 point.
That would make it 6-2 after 5. And in the women's bronze medal match, Linda Ng is up 7-5 after 6. And in the men's bronze medal match, John Braun's up 8-7 after 7.
Oh, John Bjornsson is making a comeback in that one, so it's a very close match.
And in the women's gold, Josephine Lee is up 5-1 after 4.
You mean you can see right through Diane?
I saw it just before she stood in front of the scoreboard. And as to be expected, as soon as Richard got the mat, he stretched it out again.
Yeah. It's too late. Yeah. Nice shot. And a nice draw by Heren.
I love seeing that first bowl being locked onto the jack or close and putting pressure on your opponent, because that first bowl is just so important.
Yeah, and in this case, well, Richard's second bowl is coming in pretty close, but his first one was off, and that gave his opponent the opportunity to lock onto the jack. Yeah.
If I could go back and rewatch every end of the games we've streamed, I would love to put a percentage to say if your first bowl's on the jack, what's the odds of you winning the end, versus if your first bowl's more than 3 feet away, what's the odds of you losing the end?
Yeah. I would imagine. Do you think that would change when it comes to the proficiency of the bowler? You know, if you're a really good bowler, that may apply, but if you're a recreational bowler, I just don't know. But yeah, we're watching really good bowlers.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I guess it sort of, I think it depends more on who you're playing against, more so than the actual bowler who rolls the first bowl
Yeah.
on the jack, or not.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing about you can't. What's happened in both these matches is that the first set has been won by the less seasoned bowlers. Right? When I say less seasoned, the ones that haven't been abroad bowling, blah blah blah. So it's that much. I think it's that much more likely that they would go to a tiebreak, because if the other bowlers can, they've got the mindset. It's not so much them to they've already got it. They know what they have to do, and maybe the other ones are going to be thinking, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's kind of a valid point, just because looking at both gold medal matches here, Josephine Lee and Haren Bhartu, both of them have played abroad, have played for a long time, have international exposure, so a little more accustomed to being in this sort of situation, whereas Richard and Rainbow, not that they're bad bowlers by any means, but they don't have the same international experience that Haren and Josephine do, so I'd be inclined to agree with you on the odds of it going to a tiebreak, simply because of the experience that Josephine and Haren have, but looking at the greens right now and how Richard's been playing and how Rainbow's been playing,
yeah,
part of me also says I could easily see it not going to tiebreaks.
Yeah, well, for sure. And one thing that's interesting to point out is that Haren and Josephine are, I don't know, 5 or 6 times national mixed pairs champions.
Yeah.
On the same team.
Yeah, they've played mixed pairs together for a long time, and
yeah.
Their name's all over that mixed pairs trophy.
Yeah. But that's on the day, that doesn't really matter. You can't win on resting on your laurels.
John Bjornsson's just about completed the comeback. He's up 9-8 going into the last end of the second set.
Well, so John Braun needs to score 1 to win. And if he doesn't, then it's going to tiebreak, right?
That's right. And that was a very interesting result from Richard there, as he whipped off his wide bowl and almost came into the head.
But it's good to see Rainbow's in a pretty good position, and it's good to see her kind of, I think she's probably won nationally outdoor as a lead, but her singles game is just
been elevating.
And she went to the UK, and I think that helped too. Went to the UK last winter.
Really like the shot coming in here from Haren. He's got a lot of his own bowls he can work into the head with. I'm surprised that he came up short there. I thought for sure you would be a little more aggressive, because it's all Haren coming in.
Right. Was he holding?
Yeah, I think he's holding 1 in a look, maybe 2.
Definitely 1.
Yeah,
He's got the jack in his hand.
Yeah, it was 3. 6-5 after 6.
Yeah, I'm looking over at the rank 1, and John's delivering his last bowl, and I think John Braun is delivering his last bowl, and I think John Bjornsson is holding 1. So John Braun needs to make a good. Oh, he got it. Excellent.
And John Braun has just won the bronze medal over John Bjornsson.
Yeah, we're not watching. It's really hard for us to see that rank, but I kind of caught it between the trophies and the post. And John came in on his last bowl. John Braun. Oh, let's say Braun and Bjornsson.
There you go.
Might be. Braun came in with his last bowl. Bjornsson was holding, won. And Braun came in and used a little bit of extra weight because both bulls in the count were behind the jack, and he just came in and tapped Bjornsson's bull out to count 2. So it was very exciting.
I think that Haran has got a little bit of his mojo back here after picking up 3 that last end his first bowl. He just got a touch here locked on, so that was a big boost.
Yeah, here comes Richard. It's a good position bowl that Richard's just put in. Well, even a great number 2, let's put it that way.
Since the men's bronze medal match finished, you can feel the tension here, the excitement of the audience here. The buzz has just sort of picked up a little bit.
Yeah. And we'll have more spectators as well from there. A whole 3 more. both combatants and the marker. So can you see the gals bronze medal?
Yeah, someone just threw a drive over in the women's bronze medal match. I'm not quite sure who it is. The scoreboard says 9-5 for Linda Ng over Emma Boyd. They just finished their 8th end, I think. Nope, shaking hands, so yeah. I guess that was the game.
Yeah, Linda must have scored on that end.
So I guess Linda Ng is the bronze medal winner.
Dreamline XGs. Wonder if Richard went out for a smoke. Oh no, he's down the other end.
Has anything surprised you so far this game?
Between Richard and...
Yeah, between Richard and Haran.
I think... Yeah, well, I'm sure Haran is a favorite over Richard. And maybe, I think, I don't know if I'm surprised that Richard's kept his composure, but it's good for him.
What a bowl!
But other than that, no, they've been bowling really well. I don't, true to Richard's way of bowling, I don't even know if he's made many weighted shots at all. But he usually doesn't get himself into a position where he has to. He's got 2 bowls. I was going to say this is I suppose it is a critical shot, but...
I think this is a very critical shot, and I think that since he doesn't throw much weight, that you need to make some sort of a change here with this one, otherwise you're going to be in a lot of trouble with your last one if you're not a heavy throwing player.
I would expect, but you don't know, because they're always going to change. I would have always come with weight. Yeah, backhand weight. That opened it up.
Yeah, that's a great bowl.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would have thought maybe Richard would come on his backhand into the pile, right, into those 3 bowls in the jack, and hope that you get a favorable result. But I don't.
That's exactly what I was expecting too. So I was really surprised by that. But he connected, and it was a good shot. It really opens it up for his last one. So with 1 bowl left each to come, if you're Haran, do you just keep piling them in?
Yeah, I think so. You have to. I mean, if he could and it worked, he'd be up, say 3 or whatever, and that's. But I'm not sure what he's done here. It's a little heavy, right?
Yeah, just a little bit too quick going around to the back.
Yeah, which isn't so bad, I guess, because you've got, in case Richard decides to go with weight, he's Heren right now has a tee.
Do you see him throwing another drive?
I think so, but if he does, I think he'll change hands and do a forehand drive this time instead of a backhand drive. I believe his last one was backhand. Yeah.
Does it look like forehand to you?
Yep. But it's not a drive. It's going for just weighted. Control weight. Oh, and he's narrow. Yeah.
Seven six, Heren over Richard. 2 ends to go.
And if Diane Fulton wasn't in the way, I love you, Diane.
It's 6-2 for Josephine over Rainbow right now, with after 6, so they're playing 7.
Yeah, so they're it's a good. Well, I'm not going to say it yet. There's too much of a game to go there. There is a chance it will go to a tiebreak. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, definitely a chance for both games.
Yeah. That way we'll get our money's worth, and so will all the other spectators. So I'm really not sure what's happening in the down in the women's gold medal match in the head there. I don't know who's holding or who isn't, but anyhow, that's Josephine's last ball, and then Rainbow's coming back to deliver her last ball. And Heron's put a fairly good draw shot in, maybe, or is he up short? He's a little bit short.
Yeah, needed another good 2 feet on that.
Richard's bowl is on its way, and so is Rainbow's. So I believe Richard's shot maybe jack high with this.
Yeah, I think he's just past jack high.
And I have no idea what's on the ladies. We can see the head really good when they come this way, but going the other way, it's difficult. Can you distinguish the colors between those bowls down there? Yeah, see.
Excellent shot from Heren.
Yeah, great shot from Heren there. And Richards is on the way.
As we were talking about earlier, about how Richard was really in the zone for 6-7 inch stretch there between the first set and the second set. Now it seems like the things, like fortunes changed completely, and now it seems like Heren is really locked in on the zone, and Richard needs something to change.
Like this. It's hard to tell if he's holding it.
He got a toucher out of it as Serge just chalked it, so Heren's already halfway up the green, coming down to take a look.
I hope he asked permission. I'm sure he did.
In a game like this, I don't know if anybody would call him on it anyway, just because it's that close. I'm surprised that Richard didn't go down and take a look as well.
Yeah, well, you know, the rule states that it's Heren's mat, so Richard can't. I ran into that with Heren, and I had last year, and I had to or the year before, and I refused to allow him to come down to the mat or down to the end because it wasn't his mat, which is kind of strange, but that's the rule.
Yeah. Yep.
I wonder if he's after his bowl. No.
Going around to the back, I think.
Richard has asked to go down, and he's going to take a look too. It's just it's too critical, right? Only 2 ends left in this.
Well, he's getting a really good angle at this.
Down on the carpet.
Most people look at it from the aerial view over top, and I think you're trying to get the underneath view of it from underneath.
Yeah. What I like doing is where you do it the most often is when you're vice in a triples and watching the ball come in and getting really low to see the path and follow it as it comes through the head. Yeah. A little narrow.
Yeah, a little narrow. One bowl left each, and they're still not sure, I don't think, about who shot the way that Heron's still having a good gander at it. Do you just leave it? They each have one bowl left. Like, what do you do here?
I doubt that Heron would leave it, because I'm sure he must know in his mind whether it's he's up or down, sort of thing. You never know. Richard could, after Heron delivers, as long as Richard knows that he's up one. Even if he wasn't and made a mistake, it's not the end of the world, but we'll see.
Not surprised by this coming down to take a look again. I think Richard's really got some indecision about do I go for it or do I not, because you don't want to take your own bowl out and be down a handful, but I don't know if he knows if he shot or not.
Yeah, well, that's I would think that if he knew he was shot, he wouldn't throw this ball, but it depends on who you are, you know, and whether you figure you can get a second. Right.
I have a feeling that there'll be an umpire call after this either way. I don't think it's clear cut.
Yeah, I think you're right. Whoops.
Heron says one for me, and they agreed, so I guess it was clear cut. That'll make it 8-6 coming into the last end of the second set. And in the women's gold medal match, Josephine is up 6-4 after 7, with one bowl left to come in this 8th end. I feel like the scoreboard can't be updated. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it shouldn't be an even number coming down here. Or
either they already changed it or they're a couple behind.
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Assuming that the score itself is accurate, it's 6-4 Josephine anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they've changed it. Yeah, so Diane should go and change it. That's probably one for Josephine.
Heron is on fire.
Yeah, he is. Richard's just got to keep his cool here, and he's just as capable of being on fire, so we'll see what happens.
Being this is the last end of the second set, Richard needs 2 to tie, and a tie would give him the win.
Yeah, looks like he might have the jack here, eh? Or the bull. Oh, unlucky there. Have the jack here, eh? Or the bull. So yeah, 7-4 after 8 on the ladies' gold medal match.
I think they're starting 8 on the ladies' gold medal match. That's what I think. Where I think they're at. Heren was almost halfway down the green chasing this bull before he realized it's only second one, so he's quickly backtracked. Good position.
Yeah, very good position, bull. Richard's changed hands, I think. Yeah. So he's coming in on his backhand. It's got the pace for sure. Yeah, that's not so bad. He's got 2 receivers there.
Mm-hmm.
Rams coming in on the same hand, same track, and I think he might be second shot there. Yeah, very good shot. And behind the jack, which is even better.
Richard was halfway down the green before he asked Serge, and Serge said, "Yeah, come on down. You're already halfway here."
Well, you're so locked into the game, right?
Yeah. It's a huge shot here for Richard on his third bowl.
And it's, at the same time, there's a cacophony of noise upstairs from the gymnasium. Oh, here it comes. This is very, very, very close. Oh.
Just on the wrong side. That makes it a little bit easier or harder now for his last bowl, because now that Heren's bowl is touching the jack, you just need to touch it and it'll come right back to Richard.
Exactly. You don't have too much weight. Yeah, you know which direction the jack's going to go in.
I think it might make the shot easier, but harder for a result, because as we said, Richard needs to get 2 here to tie, and so that's going to be trickier for him to get 2 out of this now.
Yeah, it will be. So, just trying to think of what if he came the other way, the same way he's been coming, or that he came last time on his backhand. He might be able to do something there. It's hard to just catch the jack, but...
Where's Heren placing his last bowl? He already has the tee covered.
I try and place it anywhere in the path of that jack. Right? So... rest on Richard's bowl, or anywhere outside where he knows the jack's going to go to, right? Which is come up a little light, but if he'd have come down another 3 or 4 feet, it would have been a really good shot. I think. And he hasn't blocked Richard's backhand, I don't think, unless he's off on a shot.
I really don't see getting 2 out of this. This is going to be very tricky.
What about a drive shot?
I don't see that either, because chances are that red bowl that's already back covering the tee. I don't know how you're getting that out as well after you make contact on the bowl that's shot right now.
Yeah. See what Richard's got in mind. He's trying to come into the bowl and move the jack, but he's a little deep.
So we are off to a tiebreak.
Now, what do you think of in that particular case? If you can't see a way of getting the two, to just blast away and see what happens, like a Hail Mary.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I would have done in there, 100%.
So it's tiebreak and last bowl on the ladies' gold medal match. Rainbow has the last bowl. She's got two. If she gets 3, she wins. It's a tie set, and then she wins. Or if she, she's got to get 3 to win. Otherwise, if it's only 2, then it goes to the tiebreak, which I think it is going to the tiebreak. And there again, I can't I have no idea whose bowls are close or anything at that end. Sorry, ladies. Change the color of your bowls. That's funny, I just got my first set of black bowls ever.
Really? They're almost making a comeback now as the popular ones that stand out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're old ones, but yeah. I've got purple and pink, now black. Get the umpire to measure. Then I'm thinking, get the umpire to measure and you can have a bathroom break at the same time. So we'll see who's they're rolling a bowl to see who the ladies are, to see who goes first.
I don't understand how they ended up at that end. Did they start at the other end?
Yeah, unless they
I guess maybe they didn't play the last end of the first set if it's mathematically impossible.
probably. Yeah,
I guess that must be it.
Yeah, because Rainbow was way ahead. Yeah.
I guess that must be it. So they're into a tiebreak and we're into a tiebreak, and yet starting at opposite ends.
Yeah, that's unusual.
Yeah, that is very unusual.
That's a great observation, though, because I know as a marker, the first time you mark sets, you really have to have your head screwed on right to know which way you're supposed to be going in what set and that kind of stuff.
As if it wasn't confusing enough already.
Yeah, why did they have to do
Yeah, now everything's backwards again.
Oh, look at Rainbow's first bowls. Right on the jack. First bowl in a tiebreak to be on the jack is nice. And Richard's is first.
Yeah, so Richard starting us off in this tiebreak as well.
Yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, he's come up short, I think.
Yeah, need another good 3 feet on that.
No, we'll see. We'll see. Here comes Josephine. I could see her putting a little extra weight onto this to try and grab that jack.
It's funny that we were talking about in the first set. Do you think with the expertise? Haha, Josephine, what a shot.
Josephine heard me.
Yeah. We were talking the first set about, do you think with the expertise, experience of Heren and Josephine, if they'd be able to force a tiebreak simply because, they've been in this position before where they've lost the first set. And we both sort of had a feeling that, maybe. And here we are in a tiebreak for both men and women.
Yeah, yeah. And it makes it that much more exciting too as a spectator.
Great shot there from Richard.
Yeah, and Rainbow came up a little bit short on hers, but Josephina's interesting how I'm going, it's got a little bit of weight, and she did pick the jack up. So I'm smart now because of you, Josephine. Thank you.
Heren's awfully close on this one too. Shot drawn.
Yeah, nice. Josephine looks like she's maybe. Yeah. Josephine just drew second shot, so she's holding 2. Here comes Rainbow's third bowl, but she's going to come up short again, but good enough to have a second there.
Richard just got out wide. His weight's not bad, just well wide.
Here comes Josephine's third bowl.
It's funny how much of a difference it makes from 120 feet away, because the audience behind us all just clapped for Heren's bowl, but he actually came up 2 feet short, and that's not even second shot.
Yeah. Well, I thought they were clapping for Josephine's bowl, which came up 2 feet short.
In which case that could be.
Yeah, it's hard to tell who's clapping for what. Yeah. They both delivered around the same time, and so that makes it really interesting too. Like you said, with however they ended up on opposite ends to start their tie breaks, and they started at the same time too. It's very unusual.
Yeah. That's interesting. So I guess that means the men played exactly one end quicker, despite the fact the women played one end less.
Yeah.
Still 1 to Heren. One bowl left, and it's Heren's. I would fully expect him to just add an extra 2 feet on his last, draw in for 2.
Yeah, and he came in on the backhand, right?
Yeah.
Ren's just delivered his final bowl of the first end of the tiebreak.
Could be in the ballpark.
Yeah. Maybe pick the jack up.
Just sailed past. Not sure if that's good enough for second shot or not.
And Josephine delivered her last bowl long, so she's going to take 1 in the first end of the tiebreak.
So 1-0 Heren, 1-0 Josephine.
It's amazing how they're in sync right now. 2 games totally in sync. Heren's first bowl looks pretty good. Maybe come up a bit short, but right on line. Here comes Richards. It looks heavy, but That's not such a bad thing either. Well, it isn't heavy. Make a liar out of me. Perfect weight.
Yeah, that's a good bowl from Richard. His bowl has a wobble on it when it comes down too, though, so that might be why it slows down a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the stickers or the bowl itself. Have you ever put stickers on the wrong side?
Personally, I haven't, but I've heard some people have.
Yeah, it can be a lot of fun at tournaments.
I heard of one story of in the middle of a game between Ryan Bester and Kevin Jones, Kevin took the stickers off Ryan's bowl and swapped them. So instead of being, the dot on the small side, it was on the other side because Ryan went to get a water break or something like that. And so when Ryan came back, it didn't even phase him.
Yeah.
As soon as he picked up the bowl, he knew that the stickers had been switched and went and pulled it anyway. And so Kevin asked him, "How did you know?" And he said, "Well, I can just tell by feeling it in my hand."
Yeah. I'm not
that good either. So Rainbow's holding one shot in the women's match.
Yeah, and Josephine could come in wide here onto Rainbow's bowls, but it looks like she's narrow. Yeah. Or what I believe are Rainbow's bowls. Heron's third bowl's coming down. Oh, and he's trailed the jack. That was the right weight for a lot of good things to happen. Oh, and he's trailed. Could have even chipped Richard's bowl out. Rainbow's has delivered her last bowl on the second end, and I think she came up short. Yeah, came up short, so she might have scored one.
Richard looks to be in the ballpark here.
You think he got second there?
Maybe. One left here for Heren. Just draw around again, I would think.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. Or he could. I was thinking he could come a little bit narrow and tap Richard out. Sit on his bowl. His own bowl.
Kind of surprised that Heron's switching hands here.
Yeah. Maybe he's thinking ahead. Oh, no.
Close. What do you do now if you're Richard?
Close my eyes and fire. Yeah, it's tough.
Can't afford to give up two here because you'd be down 3 going into the last end of a tiebreak, and that's not where you want to be.
Yeah. My motto is when in doubt, throw weight, but that's not what coaches would tell me.
I think there is a lot of potential for things to shake up if you were to throw weight into this, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how it would all turn out, but if he could just get it kind of down the throat there.
Yeah, down the middle.
Yeah. But the other thing is it's not a overly long mat either, so your accuracy tends to increase the closer you get to the.
That's true. That's true, but we've only seen Richard throw one weighted shot the entire game, so I'm not sure how inclined he is to do that.
Yeah, we'll see.
I kind of expect him to try to draw around.
Yeah, he's doing a draw. You're right. So that's looks like it's going to be a 3.
Yeah, I think they said 3, which would make it 4-0 for Horan going into the last end of a tiebreak.
Possibly the last end.
Possibly the last end of a tiebreak. You're right.
We'll see. To make a 4th end, obviously Richard's got to get 3.
All 4.
Well, right.
Josie.
Josephine Lee, what a great shot.
Yeah, super.
So it's 1-1 last end of the tiebreak for the women right now as well, and Josephine just locked one on.
This one of Rainbows could be right in the area. Horan's throwing a pretty good bowl here, I think. It's a little narrow. A little light? Oh. Lighter than I thought.
Makes it difficult for Richard to have to get 4 when there's one that's close already.
Yeah. And on something like this, how do you get 4 by design, right?
That's a very difficult position to be in right now, as Richard's bowl came up short. To get 4 when you have a short bowl, that's tough.
Yeah. That's a better bowl from Richard, I think. Get it somewhere jack higher past. Yep. Oh, this is smart, but he missed. You take one bowl out, and I've often thought of that. You take one bowl off the green of your opponents, there's no way they can get 4.
I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of that, though, just because it is still, I guess, technically possible that Richard could get 4 out of this.
Yeah. And I don't know if I would have done it at the time that Horan did it, but I would actually. When would I do? I would do it on my second bowl probably.
Really?
Yeah. Try and hit a bowl up.
So Josephine Lee has just won the gold medal. And Horan is just throwing a draw here now, I think. Depending how the setup is, it could be that Richard might have 3 seconds right now. Interesting. do it. Corinne Bhartu wins again. So the longtime mixed pairs duo of Josephine Lee and Corinne Bhartu will be off to Warla to compete the World Cup together.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Is that how they do it? They pair them together?
No, it's just singles, but it's just kind of cool that they'll both be taking the plane down to Australia.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll do it for us. Thanks for commentating with me all week, David. It's been a long week, but appreciate it.
Thanks for putting up with me, Jake.
All right, that's it for the 2018 season. We'll be back streaming again in 2019 sometime in August.
Right on. I'll go grab that other camera.
Sure.